Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again, Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I'm Liz Quinn, your star Scentsy consultant. So today what I have for you is a warm review of the Harvest collection for fall of 2025. And I can tell you up front that although I was a little bit leery of these on cold sniff, several of them very pleasantly surprised me on warm. So let's dive right on in, and if you can see that I have a little spotted rooster back there, I'm matching that with my spotted hen coffee mug for today, and I know you guys get a chuckle out of what mug I'm using and all that kind of thing. So let's start with the one at the top. According to Scentsy, Apple Harvest Dreams, which is the one that I was the most, I don't know if this is even exciting about, is a fantasy of forest apple nestled among falling leaves and autumn spice. So this bar did really transform in the warmer for me, and it's very, very nice, you guys. So what this has going for it that does make it somewhat different than Apple Spice Season from last year is sort of a nuanced and subtle, but very, very appealing and long-lasting woodsy apple scent without it being heavy. So it isn't like the oak and the lavender and the acorns that was in falling apples that we no longer have. It's not as sweet and as, let's say, going into the cider mill as Apple Spice Season, which is one of my absolute favorites. There's a little bit of a tart green apple here, and the forestiness is definitely the falling leaves. And then it says autumn spice, but it's spices that don't tend as much toward baking as it is just fall atmospheric, almost potpourri spice. So this is very much akin to the sort of thing that you would get in a candle at Bath & Body Works. I can't put my finger on what candle. It's more just that feel. So it's a generic, but not bad in any way, excellent scent that I think a lot of you will want to put in your club. Of all of the 5, I think this is the one that most people will be excited about, and it is a very, very nice scent. Much better than I thought on cold, because there is a depth to it that comes out better on warm. And most of the time I like to fuss with my wax and I'll get bored and I'll change it out in the evening if I'm kind of over something. I did not take this out. My younger daughter, who was super excited about it on cold, when I had the kids and the husband smell all the things, this is the one that Addie was like, "Ooh, I really, really like that, Mom." And at that point, I'm like, I don't know if I like it or not. But once we got it in the warmer, everybody loved it. So for the win is Apple Harvest Dreams. Very good. So the next one's going to be Cider and Crimson Berries. Now this really reminds me of Jeweled Pomegranate from back in the day, but it's a better performer. And if you kind of take Jeweled Pomegranate and just a little bit of our Tinselberry that had the strawberry and cinnamon for Christmas, put them together, that's really what you get here. So the Cider and Crimson Berries is pomegranate and ripe strawberry mulled with clove and tonka bean. This one though, and what was it that had allspice? Oh, it's a different one that has allspice. I thought there was allspice in here. I definitely get that slightly tart spice. It's not a sweet cinnamon. It isn't a really nice, it says clove, but it isn't that sweet, oily clove. It's more of a dry, almost peppery spice base. Really, really nice though. So I think that this one will go at a medium level. I was thinking it would be a little bit stronger. I used 2 cubes and 2 cubes in my Daisy Lantern Warmer and my aloe vera in the front room. And I mean, it's doing well enough, but sort of like Jeweled Pomegranate, but better. I do find that it sort of hangs around the warmer more than it projects into the room, and that is something I've had reoccurring, not really failure because it still is there, it just doesn't travel as far as some scents. I've had that before with this kind of a scent profile, but it's really nice. This is a Thanksgiving scent though. Like, this does not inspire me for August. This is a cool weather late harvest smell. Okay, now here's the problem child of the group. This is called Moonlight Whisper, and this is vanilla bean and sweet bourbon weaved softly through a dark forest of white oak. So you get the bourbon and the vanilla, and those two together are notorious for being difficult to smell. Then you add the white oak, and that's not particularly difficult to smell most of the time, but when you combine it with those other two scents, you get something where the best word that I could use is muted. And it's a lovely, lovely smell. I think in other products that this may be very popular. I'm not going to write this off though, because I've had this kind of trouble with other bars. If you remember Midnight Mahogany, nobody could smell that thing at all when we first got the fresh pour, and a year later, because I think it came back in the catalog one more time, that thing was a boomer. And then another one that was even more of a contrast was White Amber and Silk. Nobody could smell that thing worth beans when we first got fresh pours of that scent. And eventually it became a very, very strong, almost laundry-like home fragrance. So I'm not going to write off Moonlight Whisper yet. I am definitely going to put the rest of what I have, because I got 2 sets, away. Check it in about a month, and if it's gotten stronger, I'll probably order a few more. When I put it in the warmer, knowing it would be a problem child, I did my bedroom. I did 3 cubes in my Be Kind warmer, and then 1 cube in a mini in my bathroom. The first hour, it was lovely. It smelled really, really good. But it was at that maybe 4, it was under a 5 as far as a scale of 0 to 10. And now that it's afternoon, I'm not smelling an awful lot. So I'm not saying this is going to be the absolute best scent ever as far as projection and throw, but I would not write it off yet because it's so lovely and it may just need some time to strengthen. Another one that has kind of reminded me of the temperamentalness of this is Vanilla Bourbon, and that one, even after many years of being around and sitting and curing, it's better than it was the very first time that I used the bar, but it only gets to a medium. If this thing were to get to like a 5 or 6 in throw, I'd be satisfied because it would be good enough for a bedroom, but the scent profile of this Moonlight Whisper is gorgeous. If you like a very sophisticated creamy wood with an undertone of vanilla, but it's not too sweet, it's not bakery. This would make a lovely perfume. I really, really like this. So, performance issues, yes. And the name Moonlight Whisper, the scent does whisper. I'd like it to shout a little bit more. Next, we've got Pumpkin Honey Spice. Vanilla honey poured over a rich pumpkin with a pinch of cinnamon spice. Now, what I think that this has in it is almost like a cakey cornbread note. It is a really interesting scent. It's good and strong, no performance issues here. It's very saturated, but it's got a cakey note. And it's almost like you took a box of yellow cake mix and a box of Jiffy cornbread, put those together, drizzled it with honey, added some pumpkin and a little bit of cinnamon. And it's like, I really like it, but it's also a little bit weird, but it's good weird. So I will look forward to melting this again. And with these harvest bars, I think temperature, what's going on outside, it will improve this so much, because I'm also working on the 10 new releases, which I won't get those done quite yet, but I'm working on them. And a couple of those bars, really good bars, but they're just screaming for a cold day. It's not terribly hot today, but it's just not the right weather to melt them. And I feel like this is kind of the same thing. So if you want a truly like fluffy, sweet, in my opinion, cornbread pumpkin muffin with a pinch of cinnamon and a drizzle of honey, that's what I'm getting out of this. It's different, it's happy, it's really nice bar. It's something slightly different than Scentsi's done before, but I'm just not seeing what I'm getting out of it in the notes that they are giving us for description. So there's that. And then there's also the disclaimer that every time we get these special sneak peeks as consultants, the bars will change a little bit when they go into mass production and everybody gets them. And sometimes oil ratios that made a bar a little weird when we first review them, that all corrects itself. So that may even be what's going on there. I don't know. Last but not least, which personally is probably the one I'm the most excited about and will probably club, is going to be the Spiced Pecan Cream. My mother-in-law, I have to get a bar of this for her. She will absolutely flip over this thing. It's so good, you guys. Oh, sweet cream butter, whipped with ground allspice and a walnut topping. Well, I don't care what they say about this. This is the most smooth, creamy, decadent, luscious nut bakery scent. It is so good, you guys. It's so, so good. If you remember the sticky pecan bun or sticky cinnamon something or other bun with the pumpkin in it that we had in the Gordy Goodness collection. That bar just stopped short a little bit for me of the decadence and the richness I wanted in it. This bar is very much what I had wanted in that one. Oh, it's so good. So it's not a roasty, toasty nut. It's a smooth, nutty, creamy. There's allspice in it. I don't exactly get that. It just sort of gives you depth. But most of the time, I do not reference another company or a vendor to deal with Scentsy. But there are many things that Teddy Bees produces in bakery that it has this smoothness and it's got this richness that you don't typically get in Scentsy. And this bar reminds me more of some of the really good Teddy Bees tubs that I've had than anything else that I can point to. I was thinking maybe it would be like a butter pecan, which I still have in my club and I love. That's a roasty, toasty, vanilla ice cream pecan sandy scent from Scentsy. That's a classic. We just, I think, had it back for that really wonderful clearance update that lasted like 30 seconds and everybody bought it all. So I love that bar. It's got a great heritage and history with Scentsy. Scentsy does a great job with roasty, toasty nuts. This is different. This is really, really good though. I love it. So I have gushed about this the most. So if I was going to rate them, I would say my personal favorite is the spiced pecan cream. Right behind that is going to be the apple harvest dreams, but I think most people out of the 5, the apple harvest dreams is going to be your favorite. And which one would I use the most? See, for me, because I really, really like nutty scents and rich gourmand scents, I'll probably use the spiced pecan cream a lot. But this other one, this would be like my giftable, and I will certainly get more. The pumpkin honey spice is really, really good, but I'm just wondering if it will change a little bit when we get into more of the production pouring and those notes, that weird intensity that almost gives me cornbread. I don't know if that'll stay around. Then, I don't know. Personally, I love the scent of Moonlight Whisper, but I think people are going to be frustrated by the performance, at least straight out the gate. So the Cider and Crimson Berries, very Thanksgiving appropriate, very, very nice. I guess I'll put that as number 4. Like, they're all good. They are so much better on warm than I was thinking on cold. And then the scent appeal for Moonlight Whisper, very, very high, but I can't really recommend it as something that's going to be a boomer anytime soon. I really hope that this thing's going to cure better. So this is Elizabeth Quinn with Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Yes, absolutely. You have to get the Harvest set. I'm so much more excited about them now than I was on Cold Sniff. So if you have smelled these, please let me know what you are thinking. Have a great day, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.